My not boyfriend said we were not a couple, so I broke his heart. We have been seeing each other for a year, and everything looked and seemed like we are a couple. He said he loved me, and I him. He spends every weekend with me, and we have planned our first trip together, etc. Last weekend he was in bed, and I made him pancakes because his birthday was on Tuesday. He was very happy about it and joked that I was spoiling him. I said that I wanted to spoil my man. He said I am not your man, with the same energy. He didn't seem awkward or embarrassed, just as calm with a smile on his stupid face. I didn't take it seriously and said, yeah, I know you are not my man. He was more serious now and said, no, really, I am not your boyfriend. I felt sick, but I tried to be calm and I asked what we are. He said, I don't know, great FWB. I didn't say anything after that and he ate his pancakes in silence. Later he asked if we would do anything. I said that I was planning on cleaning and doing some paperwork. He left after an hour. I ran to the bathroom to be sick and I probably cried for a solid 2 hours. I couldn't keep anything in my stomach for the rest of the day. He texted that evening thanking me for the breakfast in bed and that he thought I was amazing. But I didn't answer, so he called a few times. I didn't answer. Around 10 p.m. he rang my door. I just opened a jar and pretended I was sick with the flu and was going to bed. He offered to stay the night in case I needed help during the night and I said no. I didn't answer him on Sunday or Monday and I didn't wish him a happy birthday on Tuesday either, and I have just been keeping it short texts feigning sickness. He never brought up what he said once. Then yesterday he wrote that he missed me and that he hadn't gone this long without talking to me since we met and that he was going mad. He asked if we could at least have dinner. I said that I was very busy. He said, don't you miss me? I said that I was very tired because I was out all night with a guy last night. When I sent that last message saying I was exhausted because I had spent the night with another guy, my heart was racing. I was trembling, not from guilt, because I hadn't done anything with anyone, but from anger at being made a fool. For the first time since that unbearable conversation at breakfast, I felt like I had regained some control. And it didn't take even 5 minutes. He saw it, typed, stopped, typed again, disappeared, came back. Anxiety took over my chest, but I didn't let it show. I put my phone aside and went to shower as if all of that wasn't corroding every part of my pride. When I came back, there was a response. Short. Seriously? I read it. Ignored it. The game was mine now. 2 hours later, another message. You can do whatever you want. Just don't complain later. I smiled. He thought he was threatening me, but I knew that tone. It was jealousy disguised as arrogance. He always thought he was clever. Irresistible. The prize. So convinced that no matter what he did, I would continue there, willing to be the woman who makes pancakes and settles for crumbs of affection. But not this time. At night, around 10:30, when the street was already silent and I was already lying down with my face buried in the pillow, I heard the doorbell. My heart raced. I knew it was him. No one else would show up like that, unannounced, at that hour. I let it ring. Then a light knock on the door. And another one. I got up slowly, without making noise, as if I were a thief in my own house. I peeked through the side window. It was him, leaning against the wall, arms crossed, with that corner of the mouth smile as if he were doing me a favor by being there. Pure arrogance. I didn't open. He grabbed his phone, vibrating. Open up. I just want to talk. You know this tantrum of yours won't last. Tantrum. He thought I was having a tantrum. I replied, you said you weren't my boyfriend. I'm just enjoying my freedom. The response came in seconds. Freedom you never wanted. You'll get tired of this little theater quickly. Call me when it passes. I read that and laughed. Out loud. A dry, almost nervous laugh. He still believed I would run after him. That I would beg. That he was the prize. But that night, the one who got tired was me. Tired of begging for crumbs of dignity. Tired of being called friend with benefits after a year of sharing every weekend. Tired of preparing surprises for someone who didn't even consider me a partner? He knocked again. This time, harder. Are you going to keep pretending you're not home now? He shouted, low but firm. His voice choked with anger. You weren't like this, you know. What kind of guy did you go out with yesterday, huh? Was he good? Better than me? Silence. I didn't even expect that. He was actually jealous. The king of indifference, shaken. I almost felt vindicated there, but it still wasn't enough. I opened the window calmly and looked into his eyes. It's none of your business, I replied. You're not my boyfriend, remember? His look transformed. From arrogance came surprise. Then anger. You're not going to provoke me, ignore me, and still treat me like just anyone. Understand? But that's exactly what you did to me. For a year. He took a step back, breathed deeply, looked at the ground. Then, he stared at me again with a forced smile. You'll get tired. You'll realize that none of these guys will know you like I know you. You'll miss it. And when that happens, I'll be here. Don't be, I replied. And I closed the window. That night, he left. But I knew it wasn't over. His ego was too big to accept a no as an answer. The jealousy would grow. The insecurity too. And for the first time, I felt the game had turned. Because he might not call me his girlfriend. But now, he was the one who couldn't sleep. And me? I was just beginning. The next morning, I woke up with a heavy head and a tight chest. It was still hard to swallow all of that. His words echoed like an insistent buzzing. You'll get tired. When that happens, I'll be here. He thought he was something. In such a disgusting and arrogant way that I felt dirty just remembering that I had gotten involved with him, that I had desired that body, that touch. How could I have deluded myself so much? I grabbed my phone and started deleting old conversations. There were hundreds of messages, memes, videos, promises thrown between laughs and nights that, in my head, meant something. To him, just distraction between one hookup and another, I realize now. But the worst was yet to come. I went out for coffee with Vanessa, my best friend. I needed to talk to someone, get everything out. She had always been my anchor, my lucidity in storms. When I arrived, she looked at me with that worried expression, like someone who already felt I was about to collapse. Did he mess up again? She asked before I even sat down. I told her everything, from the conversation about not being my boyfriend to the lie about going out with another guy. When I finished, she was silent for a while. Then she breathed deeply, stirring her coffee cup as if weighing each word. Girl, there's something I never wanted to tell you. I thought he would grow up, change, but now I see he never respected you. My stomach turned. What? Do you remember that time we went to the bar with the college crowd? A few months after you two started dating? I nodded, already feeling my blood freeze. So, he came to talk to me. He complimented me, kept making too much conversation. At the time, I thought it was just friendliness. But then, when you went to the bathroom, he approached and asked if I had ever thought about hooking up with both of you at the same time. I froze, literally. I stayed motionless. Heat rose through my face and my throat closed up. What? I told him to go fuck himself, of course. I said you were my best friend and that he was an idiot. He just laughed, said it was a joke, that the important thing was to enjoy life without labels. And that was it. But after that, I started noticing. He flirted with others too, always on the sidelines. I felt bad, but I didn't want to hurt you. I closed my eyes tightly. How did I not see? How was I so blind? The way he stayed glued to his phone when he was with me, the smiles he exchanged with strangers, the new friendships on Instagram every week. And you're sure that I started to ask, but the answer came before I even finished. Yes, he's already gone out with at least 2 girls from our class. One of them told me he said he had no commitment to anyone, that it was just fun. This while he was with you every weekend. A mixture of disgust, disappointment, and humiliation took over me. I felt like screaming, breaking something, disappearing. He made me pancakes and said he loved me with the same mouth that complimented my friends behind my back. And he still thought I would beg for him. He used me, deceived me, treated me like an option, like a safe base while he experimented with the world. While he collected bodies, kisses, and glances, I was there, giving myself, surrendering, thinking the love was reciprocal. But it wasn't love. It was convenience. It was ego. I spent the rest of the afternoon in silence. Vanessa tried to talk more, but I could only shake my head. The world around me seemed in slow motion. The laughter of other customers in the cafe irritated me. I wanted to get up and scream for everyone to hear. He didn't love me. He lied to me. He's a fraud. But I stayed quiet. On the way home, anger transformed into something even more powerful. Focus. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I wasn't going to hide anymore. He underestimated me. And now he was going to find out what it means to play with the wrong heart. I spent the night awake, sitting on the couch, going over everything. Every word, every attitude, every slip. I put together the puzzle, and in the end, I saw the clear portrait of a scoundrel. But this time, I wouldn't just be another piece. The revenge, the one that was being slowly drawn inside me, was almost ready. And when it was put into practice, he would taste the bitter flavor of being disposable, the same way he made me feel. The plan began to form that very night, between dry tears and lost gazes at the ceiling. But it wasn't driven just by pain. It was by truth. by the brutal clarity that came after the last disappointment. I didn't just want to disappear from his life. I wanted him to see, for him to feel, for him to live the same discomfort he planted in me during all those months when he pretended to be something he never was. And, ironically, the idea came when I thought of the only person who had already warned me about him, Lucas. Lucas was the complete opposite of that idiot. Polite, calm, always with a gentle sense of humor and an honest look. A guy who listened more than he spoke, who didn't need to show off or compete for attention. The first time we met was at a party when my almost boyfriend introduced me to him with that typical tone of possession, as if saying, "This is my girl. Don't try anything." Lucas smiled and greeted me with respect, but it was only when we met again, by chance, at an academic event weeks later, that we really talked. I remember his words perfectly from that night. "You seem too nice for someone like him. Just take care of yourself, okay?" At the time, I thought it was an exaggeration. I thought he was being too critical of his own friend. But now everything made sense. Lucas already knew who he was. He had already seen the rot up close. And now, he would be part of my healing. Not because I wanted to play with someone's feelings, but because, for the first time, I wanted to put myself as a priority. And yes, maybe a little revenge entered the package. I wanted him to see that there were better men, that there were people who knew how to love, and that the woman he dismissed was desired by someone with more character than he would ever have. I sent a direct message to Lucas. Something simple. "Hi, I know this might seem strange, but you're right about him, and I wanted to thank you for being honest. Do you have time this week? I wanted to talk." He replied half an hour later. "I do. Want to have coffee tomorrow?" The next day we met. I went with a tight heart, not knowing what to expect, but he received me with a light hug and a welcoming smile, the kind that calms even the loudest internal chaos. We talked for hours. I told him everything, without filter, without playing the victim, and he listened, without interrupting, without trying to minimize. When I finished, he breathed deeply. "I tried to warn you, but he's been my friend for years, and even so, he was always like this. Charming, impulsive, a womanizer. He never respected any girl. But with you, it was more cruel, because he knew you loved him." I stayed silent. He was right. I had loved, with all my strength. But now it's enough. I continued. He lost me. And I don't want to live in function of the pain anymore. I want to turn the page. And, if you allow me, I want to do this with someone who truly sees me. Lucas looked at me surprised but not shocked, as if he already expected that. At some point, this would happen. "You deserve more than he gave you, and more than he'll understand one day," he said. And yes, I'm here. It was the first time in weeks that I felt peace. But also, in some dark corner of my mind, I knew, when he finds out, and he will find out, he won't be able to stand it. Because nothing hurts a narcissist more than seeing his ex almost being happy with someone he considers inferior. But Lucas wasn't inferior. He was exactly what the other never was. Honest, transparent, present. And that would hurt much more than any silence of mine. Because now, I had a voice. I had choice. I had power. And the one who once thought I would always be there waiting would soon see that the world turns. And sometimes it turns beautifully. It didn't take long for the news to reach him. I knew it would be a matter of time. Men like him always have eyes and ears everywhere, especially when they think they've lost control over someone they judged predictable. And the truth is, he never imagined, not for a second, that I would be capable of turning the game around. It was on Saturday night. I was with Lucas at a discreet restaurant, nothing luxurious, but charming, with low lights and a guitar playing in the background. We were laughing at some silly joke. Dessert shared in the middle of the table when I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. 1, 2, 3 messages in a row. "Are you seriously with him? Have you lost your mind? We need to talk. Now." I didn't respond. Lucas saw my expression change and asked if everything was okay. I smiled with the most fake tranquility in the world and replied that I would explain later. I stayed there with him, present, because that moment was mine. For the first time in a long time, I wanted to be selfish. Let him wait, feel, brood. It was the least. But the next day, he showed up. He didn't even bother to send a message first. He rang the doorbell forcefully, as if he had some right to demand. As if our story was paused and he now decided to press the play button. I opened the door. He was there, with a closed face, red eyes, and heavy breathing. The air of an owner, of a wounded man, of an alpha male out of his cage. Are you hooking up with Lucas? He spat the question as if it were an offense. Good morning to you too. Stop beating around the bush. Answer me. Are you really hooking up with him? I crossed my arms and stared. I am. Why? Does it bother you? He laughed. A mocking and irritated laugh at the same time, running his hand through his hair and walking in circles, as if trying to control his own anger. You're unbelievable. With my best friend? Seriously? That's low even for you. Low? I repeated, feeling anger rise like a high tide. You're talking about low now? After everything you did? It's not the same thing. I never hooked up with any of your friends. But you tried, didn't you? I shot back. Coldly. He froze. His eyes widened for a second, then looked away, as if searching for a quick escape from his own guilt. What are you talking about? About Vanessa. You thought she would never tell me? That night at the bar. You said you wanted to hook up with both of us at the same time. Remember now? He fell silent, a silence that screamed louder than any justification. That was a joke, he said finally. You know I talk shit sometimes. I would never really do that. It wasn't a joke to me, or to her. And even if it was, what kind of joke is that? Coming from someone who said he loved me. I love you. Damn it, that's why I'm here. Because I love you, and you're throwing this away because of an idiot who shouldn't even be in our circle. Funny. Now you use the word love. But when I made pancakes for your birthday, you said you weren't my boyfriend, that we were just friends with benefits. Remember? That wasn't a joke. You were clear. Cold. Convinced. I was confused. I didn't know what I felt. No. You knew. You just didn't want to give up the others. And now that you see me happy with someone who surpasses you in everything, you come here demanding morals? He huffed. He was disarmed, but still trying to seem offended. His eyes were full, as if they wanted to cry, but pride held back. Because deep down, he didn't feel love. He felt possession. And losing it was the real trigger. He's only with you to provoke me, he said in a last gasp of vanity. No. He's with me because he wanted to. Because he respects me. Because he listens to me. Because he values me. Something you never did. He looked at me, as if he were seeing a stranger. As if, for the first time, he understood that I was no longer the woman who made pancakes smiling and waited for a crumb of affection. I was someone else. In this version, he didn't know, and wouldn't have the chance to know. Go away, I said firmly, and enjoy the walk to think about everything you lost. He hesitated. He looked around, as if looking for something that would make him stay. But there was nothing left. No excuse. No chance. No us. And I closed the door. Not just of the house, but of the story. The following Monday, while I was still processing everything that had happened with the not-boyfriend over the weekend, his unexpected visit, the shouting, the look of surprise when he discovered I knew everything, I received a message from Lucas. Hey, I wanted to take you away from routine this week. Want to have dinner with me again? Nothing fancy, I promise. Just me, you, and good pizza. I smiled. For the first time in days, I really smiled. The kind of smile that isn't a response to a provocation or a bitter victory. It was just lightness, peace, a genuine desire to be with someone without having to walk on eggshells or pretend to be less than I am. I replied with a simple, Wednesday night is all yours. And that was it. Simple, direct, true, like he always was with me. On Wednesday, I got ready more calmly. Nothing exaggerated. Jeans, a light blouse, and just mascara to bring life to my eyes. It wasn't about impressing. It was about feeling good. About going out with someone who made me laugh, who listened to me, who treated me like a priority, not like a pastime. He came to pick me up. He opened the car door with that somewhat shy, somewhat gentleman from the past century way, and greeted me with a sincere smile. I missed your laugh, he said as soon as I got in. And I missed someone who makes me laugh, I replied. We went to a small but charming pizzeria in downtown. A cozy place, old wooden tables, funny pictures on the walls, and a waiter who already seemed to know Lucas by name. The usual? The waiter asked with a smile. Today I have special company, so I wanted extra good, Lucas replied, looking at me with that calm and warm gaze. We talked about everything. Work, music, teenage embarrassments, old movies we love that no one else watches anymore. I laughed, caught myself playing with my hair, crossing and uncrossing my legs, as if my whole body was reacting to the lightness of the night. It was so different from the heavy conversations and tense silences I used to live. There, I was myself, whole, without fear. After the pizza, we walked down the street, unhurried, like people who don't want the night to end. He asked me if I was okay after what happened with his ex-friend, and I answered honestly, I'm not 100% yet, but I'm rebuilding myself, little by little. And you've been helping with that more than you imagine. He smiled, but this time it was a different smile, a little more serious, more loaded with feeling. I never wanted to interfere, never wanted to force anything. But since I met you, at that ridiculous party where he treated you like you were just another one, I knew he didn't deserve you. And do you think you deserve me? He stopped walking. He looked at me for a few seconds until he said, I don't know if I deserve you, but I admire you. I respect you. And I do want to really get to know you, not for what he painted you as, for who you are. My heart raced. I didn't expect that. Not so direct, not so beautiful. Then get to know me, I replied, with a voice firmer than I thought I had. We stood there, in the middle of the sidewalk, looking at each other as if the world had given us a truce. And when he slowly approached, asking with his eyes if he could kiss me, I just closed my eyes and let it happen. It was a calm kiss, full of care, without rush, without ulterior motives. It was as if it said, I'm here, and I won't hurt you. And in that moment, I believed, because I deserve that. After so many games, so many lies, so many silences, I deserved a man who knew how to be light. And if by chance the other found out, if he writhed with rage, if he screamed, if he went crazy, that was his problem. The pain he caused me no longer imprisoned me. And now I had someone who looked at me like no one had ever looked before. Without fear, without doubt, as if I had finally chosen right. A few weeks after that kiss with Lucas, my life seemed to have found a new axis. It wasn't perfect. Nothing is. But for the first time in a long time, I woke up calm, without waiting for messages that didn't come, without measuring words, without walking on eggshells. Lucas didn't make me play games. He was just there, present, real. And that, for someone like me who spent a year being treated like an option with exclusive packaging, was liberating. We started going out frequently. Movies, cafes, walks, nights at home cooking together. He knew my silences and didn't fill them with empty promises. He just listened to me, made me laugh, made me feel seen, and of course the other couldn't stand it. His ego wouldn't let him. In the third week, he showed up in front of the building where I lived. Without warning. He looked like someone who hadn't slept for days. Wrinkled clothes, red eyes. But even so, his pride was intact. Arrogance doesn't wash away with tears. You've become a slut. He spat as soon as he saw me coming down, without even saying good morning. The word hit my chest like a spark, but instead of igniting me inside, it froze me. For a second, just a second, I almost laughed. Sluts, in your head, are women who don't kneel when you snap your fingers, right? I replied, crossing my arms. Who don't make pancakes on your birthday after hearing they're not your girlfriend? He huffed, paced back and forth like a caged animal. You're with Lucas. Lucas? My best friend? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's dignified? What I think, I said, approaching, is that you were never my boyfriend, remember? You repeated that like a mantra. Friends with benefits. No labels. Just have fun. Well then. I freed myself from your label of nothing and found someone who wanted to be everything. He stared at me with anger. But it was anger at himself, and I knew it. And you know what the difference between you and him is? I continued. You desired me. He chose me. You used me to inflate your ego. He listens to me, respects me, values me. You left me crying whole nights. He makes me sleep smiling. He tried to laugh as if he were above it all. He's just using you to get to me. No, dear. He doesn't even talk about you. You're the past. A mistake I've already overcome. The one who's still obsessed here is you. He closed his face, fists clenched. But I wasn't afraid. You were never a man to me. You were a spoiled boy who collected women like trophies, and now you're freaking out because one of them decided to leave the shelf. Do you think he'll love you forever? He screamed without arguments. He'll get tired too. Everyone gets tired. Maybe so. Or not. But at least if it ends, it will be with dignity. With respect. Not with lies, betrayal, and cowardice. He fell silent, for the first time, without an answer. The mask of superiority slowly falling. Then I delivered the final blow. I was everything you said you wanted. Faithful, present, caring, dedicated. But you were so busy trying to seem free that you lost someone who just wanted to love you. And the worst part, you didn't lose to a stranger, but to someone who saw your trash and still decided to see me. He lowered his gaze, swallowed hard, and turned his back. He left without saying anything else. And there, I knew, not only that I was free from him, but that, this time, he was the one who would sleep with his stomach churning, that he was the one who would check his phone and not see my name, that he was the one who would remember my touch, my laugh, my care, and know he would never have any of that again. Vanessa, my best friend, never wanted to know about him again. She distanced herself from everyone in common who still insisted on saying that he just didn't know how to love. She said that those who don't know how to love, learn. Only those who don't want to, don't learn. And he, clearly, never wanted to. Lucas, on the other hand, stayed by my side. Not as a consolation prize, but as someone who saw my cracks and decided not to run away. He made me remember that love isn't noise, drama, or uncertainty. It's presence. It's peace. And as for me, I didn't become cold or bitter, but I stopped accepting the minimum disguised as everything. I learned that whoever doesn't claim you doesn't deserve you. Whoever diminishes you when you give yourself isn't a man. He's just a boy playing at having a woman. And especially, I learned that we don't beg for love. We withdraw, with class, with dignity, and let karma do the rest. A few months passed since that last confrontation, and the storm finally dissipated from my life. The one who once swore not to be my boyfriend, who laughed at my dedication, my affection, my loyalty, today is nothing more than a distant shadow. I hear from time to time that he still comments about me, as if we were an unresolved story. Some mutual friends say he's been quieter, more lost, more bitter. But honestly, I don't care anymore, because now, I'm happy, truly happy. Lucas and I made our relationship official in a light way, without pressure, without social media making a fuss. It was on a common late afternoon, after coffee and a walk in the park. He held my hand, looked into my eyes and said, "I know you came from a place where love was doubt, but with me, I want it to be certainty. If you're still ready to love, I'm here. Not as a prize, but as someone who wants to build something with you." I said yes, and I never regretted it. Today, our days are calm, full of laughter, long conversations, and lingering kisses. He makes me pancakes, and I make sure to remember how good it is to have someone who isn't afraid to say, "I love you," and prove it every day, without needing to play games. The pain of the past still exists, but now it's just a scar. It doesn't hurt anymore. It just serves to remind me how much I've grown, how much I deserve, how much I accepted crumbs for so long, without knowing there was a feast waiting for me at the right table, next to the right person. Lucas was never a trophy of my revenge. He was the unexpected cure, the beautiful detail after so much mess, the soft light after so much darkness. And me? I'm the one he didn't want to claim, who he said wasn't his girlfriend, who he thought would beg for crumbs of attention. Today, I'm the official girlfriend of his best friend, the one who walks hand in hand down the street without needing to hide, the one who is introduced with pride, not as a friend, but as the woman I chose. And if there's one thing I learned from all this, it's that whoever doesn't claim you doesn't deserve you. Whoever underestimates you loses you. And whoever knows what they have in their hands takes care of it. Loves it, stays,